Thank you all for, whoops, sorry about that.
Okay, now I got it turned on. Oh, see, and you was worried it was going to be you. Well, thank you all so much for being here on this beautiful Memorial Day 2023. The American Legion Post 33 and the VFW Post 7158, both of Cameron. Thank you so much taking time out of your day to come here and pay respects for the reason to those that gave us the freedoms to be here today to do what we're doing. And so thank them every time in your prayers. For without them, we wouldn't have the freedoms that we have today. If you would please at this time bow your heads in prayer. And gentlemen, if you will uncover. God grant to the living grace, to the departed rest, to the nation peace and comfort, to us and all our servants the promise of everlasting life, light to guide us on our way, courage to support us, and your blessing to unite us in service to you, our God, and our country. Amen. Recover. At this time, we will have the posting of the colors. If you can stand, please do so. If not, that's quite all right. Prepare to advance the colors. Advance the colors. At this time, I'm going to ask Sheila Rullich to come up and sing the national anthem. She is a Cameron resident. In addition to being an accomplished singer, she is also the recreational therapy supervisor for the Cameron Veterans Home, where she serves the needs of our local veterans every day. And thank you for your presence here today. Ms. Rullich.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Miss Sheila. That was wonderful. At this time, we will have the American Legion Post 33 Ladies Auxiliary and Zion Preparatory Academy come forward and decorate the memorial.
You can be seated.
Picture, if you will, a quiet cemetery in Columbus, Mississippi. It's April 1866. There is an elderly woman just finished with decorating the graves of her own 2 sons who died representing their beloved South. She walks to the corner of the cemetery and places flowers on 2 mounds of dirt there also. "What are you doing?" her friends shouted. "Those are the graves of Union soldiers." Softly and compassionately, that mother said, "I know, but I also know that somewhere in the North, a mother or a young wife are mourning for them as well as we do for ours." That loving deed set in motion the celebration that we know today as Memorial Day. I usually recite the famous poem In Flanders Fields by John McCrae. This year I selected one a little less known. It was written by an Edith L. Gibson, born in Oregon in 1882. She was the mother to 1 son named Don. My husband found the poem by accident in an old antique book that was taken to the recycling center. Edith titled her poem Gold Star Mother, written upon putting away the service flag, December 1945. She would pass away 8 years later. All through this land of ours, in country and in town, the blue stars in the windows are being taken down. The boys are home again, the flags have served their day, and gently wrapped and folded are being laid away. So I'll take mine down too and go my busy way. The star is in my heart, where it will always stay. For only Mother Mary, whose son died on a tree, can understand just what my gold star means to me.
Our guest speaker today is Madam Mayor Becky Curtis. The Honorable Becky Curtis is a graduate of Cameron High School, class of 1976, and after attending Missouri State University and living in Nebraska for a short time, Becky returned to our community to raise her family of 9 children. She has worn many hats, including homeschool mom, entrepreneur, band, boosters volunteer, church volunteer, and director of an annual patriotic community pageant. More recently, you will recognize her as the manager of the Cameron License Bureau and longtime city council member. Her heart for veterans has been evident through her council service, including her assistance in making Cameron a Purple Heart city. She was elected mayor of our city in April 1st of this year, and because of her work and community efforts with enjoying her grandchildren. We appreciate everything you do for our community, Madam Mayor Curtis.
All right. Ooh, wow, that was nice. Thank you for the writing. I want to thank the band under the guise of direction of Ann Goodwin. It was beautiful. Thank you very much, guys, for all your hard work. And the troop for what you've done today and posting the colors. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. I also want to thank the Veterans Assistance League and what they do for our veterans in our community. and the veteran home families. Also, I want to give a big thank you to the VFW of our community under the direction of Sergeant Alan Reed. If it wasn't for him, he is the backbone, and his volunteers of the decorating of our military cemeteries with military decorations and all the flags that are put out every holiday. Thank you, Veterans Assistance League, and thank you, VFW. God bless you. BJ, that was very appropriate poem. That's all I can say. America without her soldiers would be like God without his angels, wrote Claudia Pemberton. And I agree with her. Good morning. I'm Becky Curtis, Mayor of Cameron, and am honored to be before you today on this Memorial Day morning. Why do we celebrate Memorial Day? The origins of the holiday can be traced back to local observance for soldiers with neglected gravesites during the Civil War. The first observant of what would become Memorial Day, some historians think that took place in Charleston, South Carolina at a site of a horse racing track that Confederates had turned into a prison for the Union soldiers. Blacks in the city organized a burial of deceased Union prisoners and built a fence around the site. Yale historian David Blight published that in the New York Times in 2011. On May 5th, 1868, 3 years after the end of the Civil War, the tradition of placing flowers on veterans' graves was continued by the establishment of Decoration Day by an organization of Union veterans, the Grand Army of the Republic. The orphaned children of soldiers and sailors killed during the war placed flowers and small American flags atop their Union and Confederate graves throughout the entire cemetery. The tradition continues today to thrive in cemeteries of all sizes across the country, even the ones that we live in. Until World War I, Civil War soldiers were solely honored on this holiday. Now all Americans who have served are observed. This is the day we pay homage to those who didn't come home. This is the day of solemn contemplation over the cost of freedom. We do not forget, whether it's an hour ago or a century ago, we remember. Ask the family of Matthew Kelley, an Army Chief Warrant Officer, W-2, died January 26, 2009, serving during Operation Iraqi Freedom. He was 30 years old and he was of Cameron. Assigned to the 6th Squadron, 6th Cavalry Regiment, 10th Combat Aviation Brigade, 10th Mountain Division, Fort Drum, New York. He died on January 26 in Kirkuk, Iraq, from wounds sustained when 2 HO-58D Kiowa Warrior helicopters crashed. Everybody perished. Matthew G. Kelley had wanted to fly since he was 9, said his father, Colonel Stephen Kelley, who is retired. The younger man made his decision to fly Kiowa helicopters, Kiowa, because he'd get more flying time. He really just wanted to fly, said his dad. A military brat born in Germany, Matthew moved with the family from base to base until his father retired. After his family moved back to the United States from Germany, Matthew lived in Salt Lake City, Fort Monroe, Virginia, Sparta, Wisconsin, then to Osborne. He read books about World War II with an unquestionable appetite, especially if it had to do with flying and planes. His all-time favorite movie was Top Gun, said his brother Chris. And I can guarantee you Maverick would be right up there with it too if he was here today, because that's one of my favorites too. And no doubt, he earned the Command Infantry badge, and he always wore it above his pilot wings, his brother says. When other pilots would razz him about the badge, he'd just tell them they were jealous. He is survived by his wife, Delana, and children, Megan 4 and Tyler 4, Megan 6, and Tyler 4 at the time of his passing in 2009. The pain of loss will forever reverberate for years to come. And you can rest assured it will always be painfully felt by Gold Star families who will mourn them for the rest of their lives. The mothers raising their children alone, or the wife or father never forgetting the touch or hug of their husband or son decades to come. These Gold Star families are the unsung heroes left to pick up the pieces of the loss in their family. We are here today to honor heroes by supporting those who are currently serving in our armed forces, whether at a domestic base or in a combat zone. Military service comes with inherent dangers. The men and women who die for our freedoms represent the diverse patchwork that is of the United States of America. They are rich, they are poor, they are black, they are white, they are male and female. They're from cities, from farms, from suburbs. They come from every ethnicity, background, and political spectrum. In short, they look like us. Their one common characteristic is that they took an oath to die for America if called upon. We can ensure that the memories of these heroes and their sacrifices are not in vain. We can ensure that future generations understand the importance of service, sacrifice, and honor. Memorial Day is a time that many wear or proudly display poppies, not as symbols of what was lost, but as reminders of living legacies. Today, we are the living, and you and I are dedicated to continue the work of those who have gone before us. We are dedicated to preserving the memory of our fallen heroes and declare our unending gratitude and support for their families. Remember who they are and ask yourself what you can do for them. Say thank you to that wife or husband or offspring that lost their loved one in the line of service, or yet the comrade that was lost when you were left behind. So let us take this time to remember and honor the men and women who have given their lives for this great country. Let us reflect on their courage, sacrifices, and their dedication to the cause greater than themselves. We continue to mourn for their loss, but most of all, we celebrate their lives. I'm sure each of you knows someone who has fallen during their service to this nation. Think of them now. Whether it's a father, mother, aunt, uncle, they served so you can be free. Let us not forget why they died, but remember why they lived. Thank you. God bless America, and God bless those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for freedom. God bless.
Usually at this time, we would have the rifle salute as we've always had in the past. But this year, we're going to do something different. I'm going to have Lance Corporal Richie King come up and assist me we are going to ring the bell in remembrance of the 9 major wars that this country has been involved in and the thousands of lives that are not only buried within our communities, Arlington National Cemetery, but all of our service members who are buried abroad in foreign soil. Thomas Jefferson said it best, and I came across this quote from him. Sometimes the tree of liberty needs to be fertilized with blood. The Revolutionary War. World War I. World War II. The Korean War. Vietnam War. The Gulf War. Afghanistan. And Iraq. That concludes our Memorial Day service 2023. Thank you so much for being here. Have a safe and wonderful Memorial Day. Thank you.